Brutii are the only true Romans. We saved Rome. We drove out the kings. We made the Republic. The family deserve respect for that. Respect and obedience. We know what is best for Rome. New lands, living space, territory, slaves. I know what must be done. The Greeks, they look down their perfumed noses at all Romans, and they hate us. I'm going to give them a reason for hate. When I've crushed them. Roman steel, that's the answer. Roman steel in the Brutii fist. And the other great Roman families. The Scipii, trash. They have no respect for proper Roman ways. For us, the Julii prostitute themselves as if the people mattered. Bah. We Brutii must lead Rome.
Hey everyone, my name is Simpsy. How you all doing? Welcome to my Rome Total War Remastered cinematic campaign. Today we're playing as the House of Brutii with the main objective of this three-part series to form the Eastern Roman Empire and then eventually march on Rome. So, we're currently under the reign of our faction leader, Tiberius Brutus, who is 57. Let's have a quick look at the family tree. So he has 3 sons, and hopefully we can have a long line of Brutus dynasty springing throughout him. Ullius, Aemilianus, and Vibius. 3 sons with a lot of ambition and influence. So, already, I think we're better off declaring a different heir. I usually sort by command, then influence, because I do like my faction leaders and heirs leading from the front. So, I'm actually going to switch up the heir here. He will be disinherited, which he's not happy with, but he'll just have to deal with it, I suppose. Alright, let's make plans and preparations to expand and conquer for the Brutii. So we currently have Crotona and Brundisium. I think our best bet is to throw all our resources into Greece, trying to capture as much of that territory as we can. The Brutii are one of the strongest factions in Rome Total War, if not the strongest, due to their territorial access to wonders. There is a resource and wonder disparate difference in Rome Remastered and Rome Total War. There are more wonders to the east of the map rather than the west, so you do get a lot of bonuses with that. Alright, let's go and have our first battle.
Those men yonder are not to be feared. Their blood can be spilled easily. There is no shame in fear. There is only shame in letting fear rule you. Try not to look scared, and you'll find bravery in your heart.
Okay, let's get stuck into this rebel scum. So, we're throwing over the Brutii military into Apollonia. Sometimes the settlement is referred to as Dyrrachium. We can use this as a springboard to potentially go into Illyria and Greece. So going after rebel territory and securing it is vital. And more than likely war with the Greeks and the Macedonians will sound out. We're going for a 3-pronged attack here in this rebel settlement. Try and surround them from all sides. And we'll bring it under Roman control and influence, hopefully. Now, while our attention is primarily focused on the conquest of Greece, we might need to have a look at the situation in Syracuse as well. There might be an opportunity to get territory. We're about to get a nice cavalry charge here. Holding down the pikemen, we've managed to kill the enemy general / captain, and hopefully these pike capitulate with a rear charge. Now we might look to snipe northern Italian territory, maybe even to North Africa as well, because we are heavily sort of eastern biased in our expansion, while the Scipii sort of go into Spain and North Africa, and the Julii to essentially Gaul and France. So if we've got the resources, it sometimes might be advantageous to look to cut off their expansion by taking like Carthage or something like that. Alright, let's build a governor's house to help with the regional administration in Apollonia. And now we have 3 pieces of territory. We also want to go with communal farming early on to get the population growth bonus and increase taxable income. Once we've got farms down, we'll start building Roman roads and painting the map. I'm going to use some town watch, which are quite useful. And we've successfully completed the Senate mission. I want to be loyal to the Senate as much as we can, so we'll be trying to fulfill their missions. The Senate, the SPQR, and the House of Scipii have declared war upon the Greek city-states. That's a good opportunity for us, as I imagine that they're probably fighting the Greek city-states in Sicily, the Scipii. They want me to block the port of Syracuse, which is interesting. Well, seeing as I'm already asked to go down there, it might be advantageous for us to send Ullius Brutus down there if the Scipii fail in taking the city. So we are slowly but surely amassing more forces in Apollonia, and we'll march north to take the rebel territory in Illyria. It's probably not a bad idea getting trade rights with the Macedonians. Okay, the senators still request us to block the port of Syracuse to stop the tyrant. We'll attack the Greek city-states. We will have to be careful in Apollonia now. But war between the House of Brutus and the Greek city-states begins. We're going to push into Dalmatia to try and secure Salonia. We've been rewarded as well by the Senate, and hopefully we can get a Brutii to eventually go up the political ladder into a consul or an aedile potentially. Alright, let's play this one against these Illyrian pirates.
Today we make our own fates. The omens may say that we face disaster, but I choose to think differently. Can any true man do otherwise? Those monstrous and loathsome things are the enemy. We can expect no quarter should they win. We are here to rescue the good folk of this settlement. I have never lost a battle against these people. Why should I start losing now, with men such as you at my command? Another victory is at hand. Now, set your minds on the task to come. Strike hard. Strike without mercy.
Okay then, let's strike hard, men, and be merciless. Now, we've been quite fortunate here today. Our spies have managed to infiltrate the settlement and open the gates. Trying to grab as much rebel territory as we can is vital for Roman expansion. We'll have to watch out for those arrow towers there. Some of our villetes will be able to throw their peeler up and over the walls and strike hard into the rebels. But you want to try and grab as much rebel territory as you can, so you don't get drawn into regional conflicts with larger factions. They also tend to be very ill-equipped and don't have a strong command structure, as you would imagine rebels would. And you also want to try and grab it, just in case any other Roman or potential enemy factions do. then we'll look to focus on the Greek city-states and the Macedonians. We might even try and play one off each other. Our brave infantry have made their way into the town square, and they are surrounding the last Illyrian pirates here. Our brave Brutii are doing a fantastic job for the Republic. I do want to try and be as loyal as I can. I'm going to try and do every single Senate mission, because the Brutii are loyal to the Republic through and through. The last remnants of the Illyrian pirates should capitulate soon. There goes the enemy general and captain, and thus we win the battle. Securing Illyria is incredibly important, as pirates have made their home on the coast. They were raiding eastern Italy quite significantly. That's now stopped. Cassius Brutus has now come of age, which is fantastic. Now, unfortunately, the Scipii attempted conquest of Dionysus in Syracuse has failed. So now we've been tasked to try and take the settlement for ourselves. Cassius has now come of age. The rest of the Roman families are now at war with the Gauls. And the Julii are actually at war with the Greek city-states, which is surprising. Alright, we're going to make plans and preparations to send an army to Sicily, and also kick off the war against the Greek city-states. They've moved a couple of armies near me, and it's time to have our first initial conflict against them, as they're getting too close to Apollonia. Amulius Brutus, 33, factionaire, is going to bring in some mercenary hoplites and peltasts and look to march south.
Fleet ready.
While Aulus
Ready to sail. Ready to sail.
is going to try
Set sail.
and take Syracuse,
Set sail.
which would be easier said than done.
Engage the enemy. Engage the enemy.
Traditionally, Sicily and Syracuse will be a Scipii hotspot, but if we've got the available resources and military might, it's not a bad idea to try and take the city for ourselves. At the heart of the Mediterranean Sea, it will be a vital trade point from North Africa to Greece to eventually Anatolia and Egypt. Having more influence there would be the best. Like, even if taking Carthage is available, it would be worth doing. So we've got some small initial skirmishes here against the Greek city-states as we look to push south to Thermon. The Senate has been gracious enough to give Aulus the title of Quaestor, our first political position for the Brutii. It's well deserved. We also have a potential suitable husband here, which I'm open to doing. I will be not adopting anyone in this series. I want the line of Brutii to continue, but I am open to the female Brutii line marrying off. So even if there are generals and characters with different names that do not have the last name of Brutus, I'm more than happy to let them have
General, orders.
Brutii blood.
Forward the army. Not possible, sir. Not possible, sir. Imperator.
So Thermon has a full stack and an army outside.
Settlement, sir. Sir.
So we need to attempt to divide and conquer this situation. The siege is still ongoing.
Imperator.
We can strike the army on the outskirts, which we'll do.
The seer can offer no guidance for this day. So we must grasp our own fates and make what we will of them with an iron purpose. There stand the Greeks, ready to fight or die. Today, I think we should send as many of them as possible to Hades. They have been whipped to the battlefield like cattle for slaughter. I have never yet lost a fight against these men. I have no intention of starting today. So together, we will gain another victory. I have won many great victories for Rome. Be strong in that truth, and let this be one more. March on, and know that our victory is assured as long as we live and die like true Romans.
Aemilius Brutus here has a massive opportunity to send a bunch of Greeks to Hades. Once Thermon is taken, it'll be a crucial coastal settlement for the Republic and will act as a cornerstone into Greater Greece. The cavalry is disciplined to hold their charge, not to get sucked in. The young, brave, disciplined Hastati boys are going to charge on in. We've managed to divide and conquer the Greek city-states here in Thermon. We're holding them down. Now we're getting some hammer and anvil strikes from the side. So far, the Greek defenders seem to be in a full retreat. However, we must watch out for their Greek companion cavalry. We must fear and be cautious against Greek cavalry. They still have the reputation of Alexander's companions. The enemy general has fallen, and Aemilius will be able to claim a great victory today. Now with the army on the outside crushed, we'll be able to move into the city. Meanwhile, Aulus is down in Syracuse, surrounding Dionysus of Sparta, the tyrant of Syracuse, and we might be able to take the city.
Only a fool cares for omens and portents, no matter how bad they may be. We make our own destinies, and we are not ruled by the flight of some damn bird. Do not fear these over-nice Greeks. They have come to fight, it is true, but they will only stay to die. They think their walls are enough to stop us. They should think again. These people have yet to taste victory at my expense. Today will be no different, so lay into them with a will. Now, take up the sword, string your bow, look to your arms and armor. Now comes the hour when we test Roman courage!
Massive opportunity for the House of Brutii here today. Our first major siege with battering rams and ladders. Aulus has been tasked to take it. Massive opportunity for him personally to gain influence in the house after having his heir title stripped for his younger and more adept brother, Aemilianus. The Greeks, however, will be incredibly confident as they've already thrown back one Roman invasion from a Scipii incursion. But our men are battle-hardened and experienced in fighting Greeks. Unfortunately, one of the battering rams has now been engulfed in flames. One of the brave defenders doing a superb job. However, they can't stop the ladders attaching their way onto the Syracuse walls. A second battering ram is engulfed in flames. That vector of attack has been nullified. The Brutii must now focus on capturing the walls. Fighting on the walls, units do get a bonus in defending. However, we are making them pay for it.
Great gods! Our soldiers have done well this
The gateway is now
day.
being
The walls
captured.
are taken.
We're going to be able to funnel in more additional troops. Once Syracuse has fallen, all of Sicily will be under Roman Republic control. The Scipii have already thrown out the Carthaginians from the north and west of the island. But Syracuse, the regional capital, is the prize. The Brutii won victory on the walls. Now they make their way into the city streets to finish off the Greeks. Decapitating the faction leader would be massive. Still slowly but surely progressing.
Enemy king has been
And
slaughtered.
Dionysus,
Let
the
us
enemy
focus
king,
on
has
the
been
boys and the
defeated.
carrion birds.
This should hopefully cause a fracture and a schism in the Greek alliance. Syracuse will fall eventually to Roman occupation.
Rome will be amazed at such a victory. The day is ours.
Having Syracuse under direct Brutii control is a massive boon for our house. Stealing it from the Scipii, sphere of influence. This is what we currently control. Our regional territory is slightly fractured, which makes it a little bit exposed. The Julii are expanding north, while the Scipii expansion isn't off to a great start, which I suppose is good for us. Now that we have Syracuse, we could sail into North Africa if we choose. But it might be more advantageous for us to focus on the Greek peninsula, but still maintain a military presence in Sicily. Although we won the battle on the outskirts of Thermon, the Greeks have thrown more infantry in there for a last stand.
Men! The battle is inevitable, but victory hangs in the balance. Do your duty as true Romans, and victory will be within our grasp. Do not fear these over-nice Greeks. They have come to fight, it is true, but they will only stay to die. That army comprises a full quarter of our foe's warriors. Is that the best that they can do? These old women, beardless youths, and craven dogs? I think we will grow weary of killing today. Our task today is a noble one, to preserve the town and its people. We are even matched in numbers, man for man, but that does not tell the whole story. Yet, that said, they are the stronger, better men. If we go at them bullheaded, we aid their strength. Cunning will be what wins the day. These people have yet to taste victory at my expense. Today will be no different, so lay into them with a will. This morning, an eagle circled the camp 3 times, then flew towards the rising sun. Such a portent can only mean a good day for us today. Be of good heart, for within the day, reinforcements will reach us. I have won many great victories for Rome. Be strong in that truth, and let this be one more. March on, and know that our victory is assured as long as we live and die like true Romans.
Let's advance. We should not fear these Greeks. They have come here to die. Now, before we march into Thermon itself, it will be advantageous for us to leave the defenders and inhabitants inside and focus on the reinforcing units coming in. Fighting them on the field of battle, on the outskirts of Thermon, is imperative, as fighting units in street urban combat will be difficult for us. Emilius has decided to delay the siege to deal with the skirmish on the outskirts, sending his brave Roman Equite cavalry first to deal with the skirmishes. A nice strong charge to soften up the Greek skirmishers, causing a retreat. The infantry has been told to hold, while cavalry gets into a flanking position. The Hastati are free to let fly their 3 Pila. And inflict mass casualties and venomous volleys into the Greek infantry. The Greek city-states are throwing everything they've got into defending Thermon, turning into a meat grinder. We've managed to interlock their infantry. They've left their skirmishers exposed. With our cavalry supremacy on the field of battle, overall there's not much they can do. Our skirmishers have softened them up, but we are losing casualties slowly but surely. If the Greek pike and phalanx is able to chip away against our infantry. Holding them in place is a cost, which flanking cavalry will exchange, causing a mass rout of the reinforcing units. The second battle on the fields of Thermon has ended. Now with the reinforcing army crushed, Aemilianus can focus on the siege itself. The battering rams have been equipped with infantry and will start breaking down the walls. Thankfully it's not a large or huge stone-walled city. No ladders will be needed for this. Just a good, solid Brutii battering ram. I'm sure the Senate will be pleased of our Greek conquest and give us more
Our soldiers are at the walls.
opportunities
Now they must batter a way through.
and missions for the Senate itself.
Our
The
soldiers
battering
are at
rams
the
are
gates.
slowly but surely
Now they must
making
batter
their
a
way
through.
to the wall. And the Romans will be able to swarm in. Once Thermon has fallen to the Romans, it is a decent
Our
choke
soldiers are
point.
at the walls.
We can
Now
go
they must
north
batter a way through.
into potentially Macedonian territory, even securing the breadbasket of Larissa, or taking the democratic and philosophical hub of Athens, or the military might of Sparta. It will largely depend on the Greek city-states.
Enemy walls. Now is the time to
The walls
press
have
on,
fallen.
capture this place.
And the battle-hardened and experienced Hastati charge on in and make their way into the
Show
Greek
no
city
mercy.
streets. Fierce fighting is now breaking out, with a stalemate forming in this urban combat grind. More units are committing. We are slowly but surely gaining inches of territory. I can't imagine how difficult this siege would be for Emilius if there were a full stack inside. We've made our way to the town square, where the last of the Greek units remain. Both sides taking large casualties. The Battle of Thermon is won,
Praised. The enemy's hearts
but
are full of fear
at
and now
significant cost for both sides. Thermon is now under Roman control. We've managed to be gifted a unit of Triarii, with the Senate incredibly pleased with the House of Brutii's progress and Roman control. The Greeks have offered a ceasefire, and they will give us a decent amount of denarii. I would only accept Greece capitulation for settlements, which they're not interested in.
Regretfully, we must declare.
The Macedonians now, we're coming into their region. They control Larissa and Corinth. Let's run down the last of the Greek city-states here in Thermon. And we can move back to the settlement. Looking at the current standings, the Senate like us barely over the other Roman houses, and the people equal to any other. Titus Brutus has now come of age. He will eventually command legions in his own right. The Senate has requested that we block the port of Sparta and continue our pressure and war against the Greek city-states. The House of Brutii will oblige.
Ready to sail. Disembark.
Aulus,
General.
after the successful siege of Syracuse, has marched north to take more Balkan territory. Unfortunately, the Macedonians are now here. We could use this as an opportunity to attack them,
Ready to sail.
but now we've been tasked to block the port of Carthage. Continue with our maritime dominance. We can wait and see if they take the settlement. Back down in the south, still holding at Thermon. We're currently investing significantly into the local Greek economies. But now it's getting to the point where the last remaining Greek territories are further away, and we're bordering the Macedonian sphere of influence. We've decided to attack them. They have taken the northern settlement of Segestia from the rebels. We'll use that to our advantage.
Let us end the
The
bloodshed.
Macedonians instantly want to sue for peace, which we will not do, after bringing the Roman world to attack them. I would only consider peace for territorial gains,
Regretfully,
but once again, they're not
we must
interested.
declare.
We've managed to secure another seat of Quaestor. Alright, let's have our first siege against the Macedonians, who weakened Segestia, taking it from the rebels. And now they are in a weakened position, instead of fighting them on the outside. War has now come to the Macedonians.
Romans, countrymen, today is a day for brave deeds. Today is a proud day to be Roman! Those overconfident men are the army of Macedon. They think themselves as good as us, but I think they are awaiting the funeral pyre. They stand alone. No friend has come to this place to die for them. Does this not say something about their honor? They're standing among nations? This army is fully 1/4 of all our warriors. Imagine how we look to our enemies and take heart from that thought. Our people expect great things of us, and we are the men to do great things. They cower behind their walls and pray for help. On this field, we have the benefit of greater numbers. It is one we would do well not to squander. They have brought many horsemen to this fight. We will have to be inventive in countering this threat, as we lack spearmen. I have never lost a battle against these people. Why should I start losing now, with men such as you at my command? Another victory is at hand. There have been many portents, both good and bad. With such confusion in the heavens, it is up to us to forge our own destiny. Now then, look to your front. Mark your target when it comes!
So, if we're successful here today, we're going to be able to cut off the Macedonians' northern ambition. They tried to set up a forward operating settlement in Segestia. They recently attacked the settlement earlier in the week. They are weakened, they are tired, and now they're going to have to rapidly defend shortly after an offensive siege. Some of the damage to the prior attack of Segestia is evident and seen throughout the city walls. Once Segestia is secure, we're going to be bordering for the first time with the House of Julii and potentially whatever barbarians to the north. I have no ambition to cross over the Alps. Too far away. North, I think Segestia is probably as far north as we're going to go.
Now they must batter a way through.
We might have to go northwest towards Dacia or potentially Thracian territory, but the Germanic tribes are the arch enemy of Brutus and the Brutii. I think we'll leave the Gallic,
The gods have smiled on us today.
Germanic,
The walls are broken.
and Britain
Our troops
barbarians
show
to
no
the
mercy.
Julii.
The enemy walls are down. Make sure their
We've managed to
soldiers are
break our
buried
way
beneath
into the
ruins.
city, and now fighting is breaking out. We've got a couple of vectors of attack. The infantry can swarm in. The Macedonians are fighting fearlessly, hardly giving up any ground. We are slowly but surely making our way through, but it's an absolute slog. Got to give it to the Macedonians. They are fighting to the absolute bitter end. They seem to be holding and delaying this conquest a lot longer compared to the Greek city-states. Maybe it's got to do with the Macedonians are a united kingdom, while the Greek city-states is an alliance of fractured cities and interests. Segestia will now fall, and we've secured Illyria. We shall enslave and disperse the populace throughout the Roman world. Back down in Greece, we're going to try and continue our advance. Larissa, Athens, under Macedonian control. We've got some available mercenaries, Cretan archers, and some peltasts will be vital. The Senate has requested the blockade of Carthage, which we shall do. We've successfully completed the Senate's mission of continuing up Roman maritime dominance, of sieging Sparta and Carthage, and Cornelius Brutus has now come of age. Right, let's try and seize the breadbasket of Greece. We're going to be able to get food and logistics from this crucial settlement, which would be massive for us. If there's any settlement we need to defend with imperative, it's Larissa. The siege continues in Greece, and Vibius Brutus, along with Titus Brutus, have a full legion ready to accompany Legion 1 in Greece. We currently have 3 legions in operation. Ullius, after taking Segestia, has an opportunity to go north and cut off the Macedonians and their capital. Larissa will now fall to a easy siege. We've secured the center. Well, unfortunately, Tiberius Brutus has now died of old age. The faction leader is now dead. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see too much of him. He was in his early 50s at the start of the campaign and was coordinating the Brutii war effort back in Tarentum. Emilius, his second-born son, has assumed control of the faction and head of the family. And Emilius now has to decide his future heir. Now, we're not going with male preference primogenitor. We're going by command and influence, and obviously a Brutii last name. So Vibius will be now getting the heir title. Unfortunately, Ullius has been overlooked twice, so I'm sure he is a little bit scorned and wanting to earn renown. Now, with Emilius, now the faction leader, 7-star commander, he is given full control and operation into the conquest of Greece. His orders are absolute. Unfortunately, the Macedonian navy has intercepted us, with a navy with 200 sailors on board. Unfortunately, a crushing defeat. Many Roman lives were lost. Dacia wants to trade.
Thanks.
We'll accept that. Emilius now continues to besiege Athens to bring it under Roman Republic control. We've managed to open the gates. And with a clear-cut order resolved, with no general inside, the Athenian people have been liberated by the Romans. Ullius, 2-star command, looking to earn his worth and respect in the family. Emilius is going to take Corinth, while his elder brother looks to besiege Bailazora. The Greek city-states still have some territory down in Athens. Vibius, now the faction heir, is going to the Macedonian capital. And Ullius now has a chance to take Bailazora for the Senate.
Take up the shield! Grasp the spear! Sharpen the sword's edge! This is a day of destiny! And fate of many will be decided in this place! Those overconfident men are the army of Macedon. They think themselves as good as us, but I think they are awaiting the funeral pyre. And draw strength from this fact. The enemy are so loathed that no ally can be found to support them. They think their walls are enough to stop us. They should think again. Our numbers here are about equal. Therefore, a victory here will be hard fought, but glorious. All that said, we are the stronger. Every one of you is better than they. Remember this and take heart from the memory. The enemy will try to conserve their strength by firing at us. We must close and fight them hand to hand. like true men. Today we make our own fates. The omens may say that we face disaster, but I choose to think differently. Can any true man do otherwise? I have won many great victories for Rome. Be strong in that truth, and let this be one more. March on, and know that our victory is assured as long as we live and die like true Romans.
Aulus is a complex figure in the Brutii family. He's taken Syracuse. He's secured Segestia. If he can secure Lazora here today, he might be able to eventually rise to either faction heir or leader. However, although he's a decent commander,
Our soldiers are at the walls.
he is diminished by his other traits of drunkenness and disorderly conduct. That's why he had his heir title stripped twice. Lazora should be able to fall, and we'll be able to have a pincer movement here in northern Macedonia. Lazora has fallen to Aulus, securing a solid victory for the House of Brutus once more. And the Senate is pleased. Back down in Syracuse, it's been quite some time that the city has been under Roman influence. A significant army has been recruited, which can look to North Africa. Back in Greece, the siege of Corinth still rages, with the previous victories at Thermon and Larissa. The Macedonians are incredibly on the back foot. They simply overextended while they got attacked. Their full stack was crushed in Segestia. Corinth will now fall to Roman control, and thus the statue of Zeus at Olympia, giving bonus in loyalty. This is what the Brutii currently control. The Greek city-states are still defined in Sparta, but the Macedonians mustn't have too many more settlements left. Aemilianus is now called Victor for the amount of triumphs he's successfully conquered, and now we can go with a two-pronged attack at Thessalonica. The Macedonians have offered us a protector status, but they demand 3 settlements. I am open for factions bending the knee, but it would only be if there's only got 2 or 1 settlement. I'm not going to concede my conquests. Aemilius Brutus has found himself a Thracian hemp dealer. Whether for food, fibre, faith, or fun, it seems that everyone has a use for the Black Sea import. I'm sure being a faction leader has its perks. Now with Macedonian influence gone out of the Peloponnese, the city of Sparta remains. We have not forgotten about the Greek city-states. Aemilius can now deal with the last full stack, with his son Cornelius, the second-born, helping.
It is a fine day to be a Roman going into battle. Every day is a fine day for a battle when your heart is set on doing your duty. There stand the Greeks, ready to fight or die. Today, I think we should send as many of them as possible to Hades. And draw strength from this fact. The enemy are so loathed that no ally can be found to support them. That army comprises a full quarter of our foe's warriors. Is that the best that they can do? These old women, beardless youths, and craven dogs? I think we will grow weary of killing today.
Once this army defending Sparta has fallen, we'll be able to successfully, here today, conquer the entirety of the Peloponnese and southern Greece. This rogue army has been brave to fighters on the battlefield, rather than cowering behind the city walls in Sparta. The Hastati ready to advance, halt, get their peeler off, and then ultimately charge in to a hopeful victory. As the Greek pike advances forward to stop their advance. Trying to hold and pin them down in place, while we have flanking maneuvers. The pikes are doing incredibly well holding their own. Unfortunately, in the tide of this battle, our Hastati aren't doing the best. But they are starting to flank. Flanking maneuvers is how we're going to win this here today. In the thick forest, the Hastati are struggling, but they are slowly wrapping around the phalanx infantry. Flanking maneuvers eventually crush them, and it's a clear victory against the Greek captain. With the full stack destroyed, we can now march upon Sparta with ease. The Greek city-states will have small allies and settlement holdings throughout the Aegean, potentially Crete, Rhodes, Pergamon, maybe even Crimea as well, as Sparta comes under siege. Oppius Brutus can come in with the attack. So I hope you enjoyed Chapter 1 of the Brutii campaign. If you enjoy this type of content, like and subscribe. YouTube memberships and super thanks are available. Stay tuned for Chapter 2 coming out soon, and more campaigns on the channel. My name has been Simpsy. Cheers.